2024 has not been a good year for Ubisoft. Skull and Bones was a failure. X-Defiant is not doing well. Star Wars Outlaws sold like crap. And Assassin's Creed Shadows doesn't have a lot of hype behind it. But now an investment firm is calling for Ubisoft to be taken private after the stocks have tanked. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, we've been saying for years that Ubisoft has been going in a bad direction, that they have not been the company they once were with amazing franchises putting out high quality content. I understand that companies have multiple teams working on multiple things, but they are pushing developers to rush out products and it's not turning out well for them. And now we're finding out that while their stocks are tanking because the Star Wars Outlaws sales are bad, things are looking negative for their future. This is a Bounding into Comics article. It says, in light of the Star Wars Outlaws developers' recent string of failures, an investment firm with a minority stake in Ubisoft is demanding that leadership concrete action be taken to save the company and their fellow shareholders' money from its ongoing self-implosion. This was bound to happen. There were bound to be investors who were like, there's no way that this company is going to continue to stay afloat if you guys don't change. And now we're just finally seeing it. Yes, they might have a minority stake, but at the end of the day, they still have a stake, meaning they still have a voice. It says, from an ever-growing addiction to microtransactions, to a noted lack of care for their finished products, to the gameplay in nearly all of their titles devolving into climb a tower to unlock a portion of the map, do a fetch quest repeat, recent years have seen them devolve from a relatively well-liked developer into a poster child for the Western video game industry's ongoing decline. And I totally and completely agree. They are not even a Western company, but they are one of the companies that is behind the decline that we have seen over the past couple of years. They do shove microtransactions into things. They try to sell us products for a ton more money by using the excuse that, oh my gosh, it's a quadruple A experience. And then they try to convince you that they could charge you even more money and that you should be grateful their games are not more expensive, which of course is not a winning strategy. That's only going to upset people. And it's not like they are releasing extremely high quality, developed titles anymore. There was a day and age where they actually had a lot of trust with their customers, but that is not the case anymore, and they're just releasing crap. Star Wars Outlaws is not a good game. They played it too safe. They used every marketing tactic in the book, like, oh my gosh, it's open world. There's no reason it should have been open world. Oh my god, it's a stealth game. The stealth is buggy and broken. The maps are not good. The worlds are lackluster. Like, this is just not a game that, in my opinion, should have been released. They should have put another year worth of development into it, and they're not. And with their upcoming titles like Assassin's Creed Shadows, they have already faced so much backlash. And yes, it does seem like Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to sell a certain amount of copies because of brand recognition, but you would think that Star Wars Outlaws would have been selling well because, according to Ubisoft, this is their largest marketing campaign ever. They put the most amount of money into the marketing campaign for this game that they have for any title because, of course, it's Star Wars, and this game is not selling well. That's why shareholders are extremely upset. Of course, in further compounding the game's struggles, given the reception, JP Morgan downgraded their sales expectations for the game, slashing their predictions from 7.5 million units sold in the fiscal year to just 5.5. And as a result of these developments, we saw Ubisoft's stock fall by 1.05 euros, its final price sitting at an abysmal 13.67 euros. By the time France's Euronext Paris securities market closed for the day, an over 50% drop compared to the same time last year. Now, unhappy with these results and fearing for his firm's minority stake in the company, AJ Investments and Partners founder and company executive Krupa issued a public letter expressing our deep dissatisfaction with the current performance and strategic direction of the company and calling for its leadership to take Ubisoft private or allow it to be sold to a strategic investor. Now, of course, will this happen? Most likely not. Ubisoft is barreling forward with the products that they've already greenlit, the decisions that they've already made. And they probably see this as just a minor speed bump because they're worth so much money. They're worth over 5 billion euros at this point in time. So they think that they are safe as of right now. But I don't think that that's the case. I do genuinely think that Ubisoft is going to continue to struggle. And I think that, yeah, a big part of this is not only the fact that they're not listening to customers, but also some of their other investors, like their majority investor is actually Tencent, funny enough. Tencent is a really crappy company who has dug their claws into Western video game companies and video game companies, of course, in totality. Again, Ubisoft is not a Western one, and they have severely damaged the track record of companies, and products that they've made have been influenced because of Tencent. Of course, I really don't feel that bad for the people at Ubisoft and all of their investors, because at the end of the day, we are the ones who are suffering. We are the ones who are not getting good products, and we are the ones that these individuals have tried to convince that we should be grateful for the slop that they're releasing. And this is what happens when you focus on Western sensibilities instead of genuinely good storytelling. This is a company that, yes, has had a significant focus on DEI over the past couple of years, and I don't see that changing. I think that the individuals at this company have the Bob Iger mindset, which is the message takes precedent. You always focus on the message versus actually making money. It used to not be this way. Companies used to, at the end of the day, want to make money. But now you have these individuals where they've shifted. And that's why I think Ubisoft was happy to work with Disney, and why they put the most amount of money for a marketing budget into this title, and why I think they were hoping this was going to be a smashing success, because there are a lot of companies right now who are kind of fighting for an EA situation where they get exclusive rights to, Star Wars, maybe Indiana Jones, just the, Disney franchises in totality for video games. But I don't think that's going to happen after we're seeing the failure of Star Wars Outlaws. And I think that we are going to continue to see a downward spiral for Ubisoft. If they were smart, they may actually take their investors' suggestions to heart, and they may follow these, recommendations, like take the company private for a fair price, cost reduction and staff optimization, focus on core IPs, management changes, etc. But I think that, judging by the direction of the video game industry, we are going to see significant layoffs going on at Ubisoft. We are going to see them go through a giant or major restructure, as they've been branded within the industry. And I do think that they are going to have to really focus in on what customers want going forward. We don't want Assassin's Creed Shadows. We don't want Star Wars Outlaws. We just want you to go back to the company you once were and make the content you once did. But they haven't listened to us over the past couple of years, and they really only have themselves to blame for being in this situation. It is hilarious, though, to see Star Wars Outlaws struggling so much because they were so confident in it. And us gamers have been saying for months now, since we saw the teasers and trailers, this is going to be a major disaster. And while I did think that brand recognition was going to help this title quite a bit, it's not, which does not bode well for the future and games like Star Wars Outlaws, if they do DLC, but also other titles like Assassin's Creed Shadows. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.